having a game-winning shot, had a chance to catch the ball at the top of the key. DeMar DeRozan actually denied the handoff and took the shot himself, airballed it. How do you think this team is going to figure out who their closer is down the stretch?
It's a great question. Here's the real conundrum that I think they're in. You brought in Vucevic. The offense ran through him in Orlando. He's trying to develop chemistry. Then you bring in DeMar DeRozan. Offense ran through him in San Antonio. Then you got Zach. Offense ran through him in Chicago, and it wasn't a very good team because he had no talent around him. It's going to take time to figure out roles and who's going to get the ball when and who's going to take a game-winning shot. I just think guys are searching for their identity. I love Billy Donovan. I think he's a really good coach. Just he's going to earn his money.
Yeah, but the Bulls, listen, the Bulls are going to be good this year. The only question I really have is depth and Patrick Williams' age. That's it, right? Like otherwise, he's got to get a little more seasoned, but they're good and fun to watch. Cap, appreciate you jumping on with us this morning as always.
All right, Cap, congrats again,
You
brother.
guys have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Jay, so you watched the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
They lost by a point. DeRozan.
Yeah, but the Knicks dominated the full length of the game until the end.
Until the rush at the end.
Yeah, they went. Bulls went on a 12-0 run. And I think the Knicks are becoming more and more impressive each time I watch them play. The question for the Knicks is, can they sustain? But as it relates to Chicago, look, the way they defend, the way they pass the ball, they just need to build a sense of urgency. But they are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
That's no doubt.
They're a well-constructed starting five for sure. Knicks are deep. They may be deep enough to withstand the Thibodeau kind of grind. We'll see. But they don't have the high-end talent, I think, that the Bulls have.
His thought process, and it's a big part of his game, is that pump fake.
He had 20, but the Knicks hang on to win at 104-103. They're 4-1, their best start in 9 seasons afterward. Kemba talked about the lesson learned in dodging the bullet.
You got to take it game by game. You got to learn from your mistakes. I thought we took our foot off the gas a little bit. But we're on the road. You have to expect things like this. This is a great team. One of the best teams in the league. 4-0 to start the year. They've been playing super well. So we kind of expected those guys to make that run. But I'm excited that we withstood it, and we came out with a win. A win is a win in this league, no matter how you get it.
Well, that's exactly right, and the Knicks have been impressive here early on in the season, an improved roster, and it's showing up on the court.
Yeah, I mean, they've been a lot better offensively. Obviously Evan got off to a terrific start for him to start the season, but when you look at the spacing that he and Kemba can provide and the playmaking ability, such a much better compliment to Julius Randle. And tonight's a perfect example. Julius Randle, only 13 points tonight, did not have a stellar performance, yet you were able to go on the road against a really good team and get a win. And I think that tells you a lot about this roster. The big question for me with Coach Tibbs is going to be, can he develop that bench? Because he's been known as a coach that likes to ride the guys he trusts, which is typically his starters. But as he saw last year, you're going to need depth and versatility. They have some guys, some of the young guys that they need to develop, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly. You're going to get a good production out of Derrick Rose, but they need some other guys that are going to have to step up for them if they truly want to have a chance in that Eastern Conference.
For Chicago, this was the best test for them early on in this season. They come up short, even though they made it exciting down the stretch. What will they learn from it?
Well, it's probably the biggest game in Chicago in 5-6 years. So to be in that moment, to learn from that, their big three got 67 points, played well. They were competitive. They hung in there. I just think they're a good, solid team. And where they've improved is defensively. And Zach LaVine is improved every year. He works, he cares. Kind of shows his whole game there. He's cutting off the ball. He's driving at the end. Great play at the end. To take the quick two. He had the three, maybe step back. They had plenty of time. He makes it with 9.5, and they have a chance to win because of that play.
Yeah.
That's growth by him, and that's what you want to see. I think the Olympic experience helped him. He's healthy. Remember, he tore an ACL 3 years ago, and to see what he's doing and what they're doing, it's exciting in Chicago, and they're doing it with defense too, Matt, which as you know, Greg, that's got to happen, right? You got to play that end of the floor if you want to go deep in the playoffs.
Also playing with a torn ligament in his left thumb right now is Zach LaVine. How great would it be, by the way, to see a Bulls-Knicks playoff series again? It's been a while since we've seen that take. Bradley Beal, great player, just missed out on a scoring title last year. Remember that great battle with Steph Curry down the stretch? He averaged better than 31 a game last year. So far, not so much. Under 20 a game, shooting 33% from the field and just 16% from three-point range. And yet, the Wizards entered Thursday night 3-1 on the season.
Are you saying less is more?
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying it's weird.
It is.
And it's a good thing for the Wizards because Beal's going to get better, right? Maybe even in this game.
Doubt.
Of course, they got to stop John Collins and the Hawks.
He had himself a night.
Denny Avdia, no. Montrezl Harrell got the start Thursday night, and boy, did he deliver. 25 points, 13 boards, and 5 assists.
Well, the 5 assists stands out. You saw an example there. He's a much underrated passer, and you know about his ability to finish in the paint.
Who's doing those ratings, by the way, on his passing?
You know what? I'm basing it on 2K.
Trae Young had 15 points. There's Beal knocking down the step back. Washington up by 9 at the half. Third quarter, Kyle Kuzma finding his spots in this Wizards offense. He had 21. 4 starters with 20-plus for Washington. Lou Williams still getting it done.
No doubt about it. And I tell you, this is one of those games when you look at Atlanta, they're a team now with expectations, and defensively, they just did not bring it tonight.
That's high percentage.
I think his field goal percentage just went up.
That's a real deal moment right there. Season high 27 for Bradley. He had 8 boards, 8 assists as well. Off the pick and roll, Trae Young to John Collins, who was 14 of 16 from the field. He had 28. Then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to help put it away. 3 of his 21, he had 8 boards, 5 of 7 from the great beyond. Washington wins again, this time by 11. They're 4-1 for the first time in 7 years, and did it in this game without Spencer Dinwiddie. So, how good are these Washington Wizards, Jim?
Well, they're guarding it. You know, they're top 15 in defense. They're playing offense the right way. You talk about Beal maybe not scoring as much, but I know he'll take the winning, Greg. Mm-hmm. He's ready to win. But all their additions have done well. Holiday's contributed. Pope's contributed. Harrell is a winning player. He does a lot of things for you. They're tougher. They're more physical. Bertan's off the bench now. You got to prepare for him, right? You got to be ready for him. So they're tougher on the scouting report. They're tougher physically. They have a lot of shooting. I mean, Kuzma, we don't even really talk about him that much, right? I mean, Kuzma's a dynamic three-point shooter. He has positional size. He can play 3 and 4. And he's trying to improve his defense. It looks like he has. So you got to give their whole organization credit for what they're doing and where they're at. I don't think it's a fluke. The way they play is a good way to play. And all their guys are playing winning basketball and playing together. They look tied together.
I think it's a great point. And the thing I like now, offensively, they have so much more versatility than they had a year ago. They were so reliant upon Westbrook in terms of usage and Beal, and then everybody else kind of just watched the game. And now everybody kind of feels emboldened. They're all involved. It's moving well. They're sharing it. And they've got guys that can get it done. You know, you remember Pope and Kuzma have won a championship and played big roles on those teams. So they come here with a lot of confidence, and now they're getting more of an opportunity. Dinwiddie, that could end up being one of the biggest deals of this past offseason because he has been terrific for them here early on. And they were able to win a big game without Beal the other night, and now they don't have him and they can still win. So I'm anxious to see if this is sustainable. I really think it is, though. I like the makeup of their roster, and then with Harrell, who was, sometimes we forget because in the postseason it hadn't always worked.
Right.
But, boy, in the regular season, he is a tough hombre.
It's always interesting also when you have a team that has so many new parts the first time around against the rest of the league. It's almost like a rookie pitcher the first time teams see him. They're not sure what they're getting. And sometimes